All right, so everybody's listening to podcasts now, right? But I've discovered something kind of cool, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There are all these podcasts coming out of Asia
Oh, wow.
that we're totally missing out on.
It's true. And they're not just entertainment, you know?
Yeah.
They offer a window into different cultures and ways of life.
Okay, now you've got to give me an example.
We'll take the Indian podcast, for example.
Okay.
They have an episode about Rani Lakshmibai.
Who's that?
She was this incredible warrior queen
Hmm.
who fought against British rule back in the 1850s.
A warrior queen. Wow, that's amazing.
And it's like they're digging deeper than just your, average history books.
Right.
They also explore these quirky traditions.
Like what?
Like, did you know there's a whole festival dedicated to snakes?
Really?
Yeah, it's called Nag Panchami.
A snake festival. Wow, okay.
See? Hidden gems?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So we've got India covered.
Yeah.
What about
What about East Asia?
yeah, what about East Asia?
Ever heard of Tokyo Speaks?
I can't say that I have.
So it's a bilingual podcast
Oh, cool.
with episodes in Japanese and English,
That's neat.
which is kind of a sign of how Asian podcasts are appealing to a wider audience now.
That makes sense.
You get both local and expat perspectives on the city.
Yeah, so you're not just getting the tourist view.
Exactly. They're talking about like navigating the subways and finding the best ramen spots and stuff.
Man, now I'm hungry.
Right. Okay, where to next?
Let's go to Southeast Asia.
All right.
This one might surprise you. It's called the Wet Fly Podcast, and it's about fly fishing.
Fly fishing in Southeast Asia.
I know, it's kind of niche,
That's pretty niche.
but it's really well done. And they talk about the challenges of fly fishing in the Philippines,
Okay.
the unique species they encounter, and even like the environmental impact of fishing practices.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about the sport.
No, it's tied into travel and environmental awareness.
That's really cool.
And they even have an episode about this mythical sea serpent.
Yeah, it's called the Bakunawa, and it's supposed to cause earthquakes and eclipses.
Whoa, okay. I am adding that to my list.
You'll like it.
Okay, one more, right?
One more.
Where are we going?
This is a region often overlooked in the podcasting world,
Okay.
Central Asia.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's a show called The Steppe Stories from Kazakhstan.
Okay.
And they explore everything from the history of the Silk Road to nomadic tradition.
Wait, hold on. The Silk Road. Remind me what that was all about. I always get it mixed up.
Oh, so it was this massive network of trade routes
Right.
that stretched for thousands of miles.
Okay.
It connected Asia to Europe and Africa
Wow.
for centuries.
Mm.
And it wasn't just about trading goods.
Oh.
Ideas, religions, and cultures all traveled along the Silk Road too.
Wow.
So you can imagine the kind of stories the Steppe Stories digs up.
So it wasn't just about silk. It
Yeah.
was this huge cultural exchange.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And then the nomadic traditions,
yeah.
thinking about these vast open landscapes with nomadic tribes traveling with their herds, living in yurts, and keeping these traditions alive for centuries.
It's a whole different way of life.
Is.
I can't believe how much I'm learning just from these descriptions.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what the actual podcasts are like.
I know, me too.
This is amazing.
It is.
All right, so we've journeyed through some amazing regional podcasts.
We have.
But you know what else I love about podcasting?
What's that?
Those niche shows
Yeah.
that cater to very specific interests.
Right.
It's like finding your tribe, you know?
It is. And podcasting has really opened up content creation.
It has.
And Asia is producing some truly unique niche podcasts.
Like, for example, we found this show called K-Drama School.
Oh, yeah.
K-dramas are everywhere these days.
They are.
But this podcast goes deeper.
Much deeper. They dissect like everything from the plot twists to character motivations to the cultural nuances of the shows.
Oh, wow.
It's like a college course on K-dramas,
I love that.
but way more fun.
I've dabbled in K-dramas, but I always feel like I'm missing something. Like,
Yeah.
what makes them resonate with so many people?
That's exactly what this podcast explores.
Mhm.
Like they break down those universal themes of love, family, ambition,
Yeah.
but they examine how they're expressed through a distinctly Korean lens.
That's really interesting.
It is.
Okay, next up, we've got something for true crime fans.
Okay.
This one's a bit darker,
Right.
but really captivating.
Okay.
It's called Bollywood Crime Stories.
Ooh, tell me more.
This show dives into the real-life crimes that have rocked Bollywood.
And truth is stranger than fiction in Bollywood, let me tell you.
Oh, I bet I remember reading about this actress who disappeared in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And it turned out to be linked to this powerful politician.
Wow.
Huge scandal.
Yeah, and Bollywood Crime Stories doesn't just report the facts.
Yeah.
They weave in the drama, the intrigue, the larger-than-life personalities.
That's like true crime meets Bollywood.
Exactly.
Wait, for people who don't know what's a masala film.
Oh, it's like a uniquely Bollywood genre.
Okay.
A blend of action, romance, comedy, drama, even musical numbers, all thrown into one film.
Wow.
It's over the top and wildly entertaining.
So they're bringing that same masala energy to true crime.
They are?
I can see how that would be a hit.
Yeah.
Okay, switching gears entirely.
All right.
Let's talk about food.
All right.
Specifically, sushi.
Sushi stories from Japan.
Now, how much can you really say about sushi?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
I bet.
They explore the history, the techniques, the cultural significance.
Oh, wow.
Did you know that sushi was originally a way to preserve fish?
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Wasn't the art form it is today.
So not fancy rolls and sashimi.
No.
Oh.
This podcast walks you through that whole evolution, from humble beginnings to global phenomenon.
Okay.
They even have an episode dedicated to the different types of sushi rice
Really?
and how to cook it just right.
I'm learning so much. So we've got a warrior queen, a snake festival, the Silk Road,
Yeah.
K-dramas, Bollywood crime,
Uh-huh.
and now the intricate world of sushi.
It's a lot.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
But how do we even find these podcasts?
that's a good question.
Especially if we don't know the local platform.
Right. Well, one strategy is to explore those local platforms.
Like Ghana for India and Himalaya for China.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Go where the local listeners are.
Right. They're treasure troves of regionally specific podcasts.
Cool.
You'll find things you won't find on the bigger apps.
Okay, and what about those podcast communities?
Oh, yeah. So a simple search on Facebook or Reddit for Asian podcasts,
Okay.
or even podcasts specific to a region,
Right.
will reveal tons of groups and threads.
Hmm.
You can join the conversations, get recommendations, connect with other fans.
To tap into that collective knowledge.
Exactly.
I bet there are amazing podcasts coming out of smaller countries too.
Oh, absolutely.
Thailand, Vietnam.
For sure. And that's why another good strategy is to explore regional podcast awards,
Oh, yeah.
like the Asian Podcast Award,
Why?
which covers a lot of ground.
Hmm.
But there are also awards specific to countries or regions,
Okay.
like the Indian Podcast
Oh,
Awards or the Singapore Podcast Awards.
So it's a curated list of the best.
It is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
These are great tips.
Glad you think so.
I'm already inspired to expand my playlist.
Good. You should. You should.
Okay, so we've talked about all these regional podcasts,
Yeah.
but one of the things I love about podcasting is like all the really niche shows,
Oh, yeah.
like
Oh.
the ones that are just about one super specific thing.
Right. Like finding your tribe.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
matter how weird your interest is,
Yeah.
there's a podcast for you.
And Asia's producing some really interesting ones.
They are.
Like we found this show called K-Drama School.
Oh, wow.
I mean, obviously everybody's into K-dramas these days,
It's true.
but this podcast really like digs deep.
Oh.
Yeah, much deeper.
Like they analyze the plots and like the characters
Yeah.
and all the cultural stuff that's in those shows.
They really break it down.
I took a college course.
It is, but it's way more fun.
I've watched a few K-dramas,
Yeah.
but I always feel like I'm missing something.
Right.
Like, why does they resonate with so many people?
That's what K-Drama School explores.
Mhm.
Like they'll talk about love and family and ambition,
Yeah.
but how those themes are shown through like a specifically Korean lens.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
So for our true crime fans out there,
Right.
we found something a little bit darker.
Okay, hit me.
It's called Bollywood Crime Stories.
Ooh, interesting.
And this show is about
Yeah.
the real-life crimes
Huh.
that have happened in Bollywood.
I bet that's wild.
It is. And they really get into all the drama and the gossip,
Ooh, I love the god.
personalities,
Yeah.
like all the stuff that makes Bollywood so fascinating.
It's like a real-life masala film. Okay, wait, now what's a masala film?
Oh, it's this.
I feel like I should know that.
Yeah, it's a Bollywood thing.
Okay.
It's like they take action and romance and comedy and drama and musical numbers and just throw it all together
Wow.
into one movie.
Okay.
It's totally over the top, but so entertaining.
So Bollywood Crime Stories is bringing that same energy to true crime.
Exactly.
Oh, man, I bet that's good.
It is.
All right, so we've talked about warrior queens,
Uh-huh.
snake festivals,
Yeah,
the Silk Road,
we have.
K-dramas, Bollywood crime.
It's been a journey.
It has, and for our last stop,
Okay.
we're going to talk about food,
All right.
specifically sushi
Sushi stories.
from Japan.
Love that one.
Now I'm thinking, like,
Yeah.
how much can you really talk about sushi?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Okay, I'm willing to be surprised.
They get into the history,
Uh-huh.
the techniques,
Hmm.
all the cultural significance.
Mhm.
Like, did you know sushi was originally a way to preserve fish?
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It wasn't always the fancy stuff it is today.
So not like
Yeah.
beautiful rolls and like
Yeah.
sashimi and stuff?
Not originally.
Wow.
This podcast takes you through that whole evolution.
Okay.
Like from its simple beginnings to becoming this worldwide thing.
Interesting.
They even have a whole episode about different types of sushi rice
Oh, wow.
and how to cook them perfectly.
This is amazing.
It is.
I'm blown away.
I know.
Okay, so we've got a warrior queen. We've got a snake festival. We've got Silk Road.
Uh-huh.
We've got K-dramas, Bollywood crime, and now sushi.
This is why I love podcasts.
It is incredible.
It is.
But how do we find these shows?
Right. That's the question.
Especially if we don't know, like, the local podcast apps?
Yeah. So one thing you could do is check out those local platforms.
Like Ghana and Himalaya.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go where the local listeners are.
Yeah, it makes sense.
They're full of podcasts you won't find anywhere else.
And what about those communities you mentioned?
Oh, yeah. So just search for Asian podcasts
Okay.
on Facebook or Reddit, or you can search for podcasts specific to a region,
Right.
like Southeast Asian podcasts.
Got it.
And you'll find tons of groups and threads where people are talking about all this stuff.
Okay.
You get recommendations, meet other fans.
It's like tapping into that collective knowledge.
It is.
I bet there are amazing podcasts coming out of smaller countries too,
Oh, definitely.
like maybe Thailand or Vietnam.
Yeah, and another good strategy is to look at regional podcast awards,
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
like the Asian Podcast Awards.
Yeah.
That covers a lot of ground.
Yeah.
But then there are awards for specific countries,
Uh-huh. Like what?
like the Indian Podcast Awards or the Singapore Podcast Awards.
So it's like a curated list.
It is. They pick the best of the best.
That's awesome.
It is.
These are really good tips. I'm already feeling inspired to expand my podcast playlist.
Me too. Me too.
It feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
I know, right?
Yeah,
And that's what's so cool. There's always more to discover.
there is.
More stories, more voices,
Yeah.
more perspectives.
I think what's really interesting is how all these podcasts
Yeah.
really challenge our assumptions
That's true.
about different cultures.
Yeah.
We have all these ideas,
Yeah.
but these podcasts break through that
Yeah.
and they show us real human experiences,
They do.
not just the stereotypes.
Exactly.
It's about empathy.
It is.
Like you hear someone's story
Huh.
in their own voice, their struggles, their joys.
And you connect with it.
Yeah, and I
Got
think we need more of that
We do.
in the world.
Especially now.
Yeah, like more understanding, more
Mhm.
connection,
Yeah.
being open to seeing things from a different perspective.
It's so important.
And these podcasts are a great way to do that.
They are. And the best part is they're entertaining
Yeah,
and engaging and they're well made.
right. It's not like
Yeah.
you're forcing yourself to learn.
No, it's fun.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
It is.
So if you're looking for something
Yeah.
new and different,
Yeah.
something authentic,
Yeah.
something that'll make you think,
Make you feel.
yeah, and see the world in a new way,
Totally.
check out Asian podcasts.
Do it.
Start with some of the shows we talked about.
Yeah.
Or use those tips we gave you
Uh.
to find your own gems.
You won't regret it.
And as you're listening,
Yeah.
think about what surprised you,
Okay.
what challenged your assumptions.
What stood out to you?
Yeah, what stories really stuck with you?
Because in the end, those are the things that matter.
They are?
Those moments of connection that broaden our understanding of the world and ourselves.
I love that.
Me too.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Tunisian podcasts.
Of course.
Happy listening, everyone.